Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to fold these papers. On the next page after your metamorphosis, you're going to have the paper with the worm, there's arrows, there's an eagle with a mouse, and so forth. It says the blank of all the blank is the sun, and there's a sun, okay? So what you're going to do is don't glue it in yet, okay? You're going to take this corner by the worm, and you're going to fold it to this corner and then crease. Okay? Then you're going to have this. Then you're going to take this top corner and you're going to fold it to the bottom corner. Okay? It's going to have some that are open. It's not going to be completely even. So you go corner to corner, corner to corner. Okay? So follow along with the steps. You can rewind and replay, pause it, and then once it's glued in on the back, so the back of this part gets glued, then come on back. So we're going to talk about the flow of energy in food chains. How does energy move through other animals and living organisms? We're going to flip it up like this. In our food chain, we have producers. Producers, they use energy from the sun through photosynthesis. Now, photosynthesis is the process of a plant taking sunlight and turning it into food. And then it stores it, the energy. So a producer creates its own energy. It doesn't have to eat anything. It creates it from the sun. Now a consumer has to consume something. It has to eat something in order to survive, like us. Okay? Okay, so consumers, there are 4 different kinds. We have the decomposers. They eat dead things, like a vulture. They eat dead organisms. Okay. The next thing that we have in here are omnivores. An omnivore is an organism that eats meat and plants. Most humans are omnivores. A carnivore eats only meat. And an herbivore, so if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you would be an herbivore, eat only plants. So there's 4 different kinds of consumers. Decomposers, they eat dead organisms. Omnivores eat both meat and plants. A carnivore only eats meat, and an herbivore only eats plants. And then we have the producers who create their own food. They don't have to go out and find it. Okay. Now we're going to move this in the middle. The source of all of the energy is the sun. Everything starts with the sun. If you think about it, the sun grows plants. Some animals eat plants. Some other animals eat other animals. And then when they die, the decomposers eat it, and so forth. So it's a big cycle we're going to talk about here. Energy in the form of sunlight is right here. So we have energy right here. Energy is coming from the sun. The grass is a producer. Meaning it takes the energy from the sun to create its own food in order to grow. Then the energy goes this way. The decomposers eat dead plants and animals. So those are the worms. They're eating the dead plants and animals. Then we have a little mouse over here who's an herbivore. Now the mouse eats the grass. That was produced through photosynthesis, that was produced from the sun. So then the energy goes up here to the hawk or eagle, whatever we want to call that, eagle. The eagle is a carnivore. Meaning it only eats meat. And here's the mouse. So now the eagle's going to have the mouse. So it's gone in a circle. So the sun has essentially provided food for the eagle. Okay, so the arrows in a food chain represent the flow of energy. This food chain down here, so we're just going to write what I just said. The sun gives the grass energy. The grass gives energy to the mouse. And the mouse gives energy to the eagle. That is the flow of energy in a food chain. All right, so we're going to look at 3 different ecosystems, which is where animals and plants live together. We're going to look at the ocean, the prairie, and the forest, and how the food chains differ in different ecosystems. So I am going to use a, let's see, blue pen for the ocean. So we're going to open this up. And for the ocean, we're going to label this. We have our shark. We have our large fish. That's krill. And then phytoplankton. Okay. So the krill eat the phytoplankton. The large fish eats the krill, and the shark eats the large fish. And the phytoplankton gets the energy from the sun. The source of all energy is the sun. The word phyto means light, so the plankton gets it from the light. So that is our ecosystem food chain. Now let's look at the prairie. Okay. We have energy from the sun creates the grass. The mouse eats the grass. The snake eats the mouse. And then the eagle eats the snake. Okay. in the forest. We have algae on the rocks here. That's an A. My pen kind of leaked some ink there. Algae gets it from the sun. That's that stuff that grows on rocks. And then we have little larvae, which are usually worms or caterpillars going through their life cycle. And this is a stream, by the way, of water. And then so that's why there's a fish. The fish eats the larvae. The raccoon over here oops, there's only one. Raccoon. I'm going to rewrite that. R-A-C-O-O-N. Raccoon eats the fish, and then the bobcat hunts the raccoon. And that is how it differs in different environments. All right, after we do this one, we're going to do a food web with many food chains. So I'm going to have you open it up like this, all right, with all of these animals on top, okay? You're going to take a corner and you're going to fold it kind of like an airplane. You know when you do a paper airplane? Before you fold it again, that's how you're going to do both sides. So you're going to have like a two-sided paper airplane. And then you're going to fold them together. Glue the back, okay? Pause it, do that, and then come on back. Okay. So lots of food chains make up a food web. So when we have a lot of different food chains together, we've talked about individual food chains, now we have food webs. I'm going to go like this. We have energy going one way. We have energy going this way. And we have energy going that way. Okay. Now, the source of all the energy is the sun. We've said that. This is the third time. So we're going to go right here. We're going to put gives and gets. Gives and gets. And on the arrow, we are going to put energy. Okay, energy. Now I'm going to do this slow because there is a lot. Oops, I spelled energy wrong. Goodness, Mrs. Ray. Energy. So I'm going to open it up and we're going to say it again. This is important because I've said it a lot. The source of all energy is the sun. A connection of food chains with many food energy paths in an ecosystem is what a food web is. So we have this here. So we're going to start at the sun. Now the sun will do the grass, and that is energy. The sun will grow the plants, and that is energy. Through photosynthesis, they create their own energy from the sun. That means that they are producers because they produce their own energy. Now something eats the grass. We have the deer eats the grass. That makes him an herbivore and a consumer. Consumer means that he has to find his own food. Find food, cannot make it himself. And herbivore means he only eats plants. Now the squirrel also eats seeds from a plant. Oh, we're going to put energy on all our. A bird also eats the seeds, and a mouse also eats the seeds. So all of these animals are getting energy from the plants. They are all consumers because they eat their food and get their energy from something else. So they're all consumers. The squirrel is an herbivore. And the mouse and the bird are an omnivore, meaning they eat both. Like a bird will eat bugs and things like that, so that's considered meat. So a bird is an omnivore, a mouse is an omnivore, meaning they eat both meat and plants. A squirrel only eats plants and seeds. All right, so now we have other animals that are carnivores that are getting their energy from the other animals. So the mountain lion gets his energy from the deer. The mountain lion is a carnivore and a consumer, meaning it only eats meat or other animals and it doesn't provide its own energy. The squirrel can give energy to the eagle, who is a consumer and a carnivore. That's a carnivore. And the snake can eat the bird or the mouse to get some energy. He is a consumer, getting energy from another animal, and is carnivore. And an eagle can also get energy from the snake. So that is a food web. But all of the energy started at the sun. Now, when we have animals that do not have like these, they're called apex predators. That means that they do not have any other animals that hunt them, and they're the top of the food chain. So that is our food chain lesson.